Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a couch comparison, not on my couch, but I'm going to continue this series anyways. I'm comparing the Modern Renaissance palette to the Marc Jacobs Glow Ambition palette. So I received this from Influence Store for free to just test out. And this is what the palette looks like. This is a neutral brown palette. And so I have only tried the Marc Jacobs birthday kit. It came with an eyeliner and a lipstick. I loved the lipstick, didn't really care for the eyeliner, but I thought I would just dive into what I liked and what I didn't like about the palette. So let's get into what I did like about the palette first. I like that there are seven eyeshadows with this palette, and it's very versatile. It has 3 matte eyeshadows, it has 1 highlighter, and then it has 2 metallic eyeshadows, the gold and the pink shade, and then we have a matte dark brown with gold glitter in it. So this is something that you can just pop into your travel bag and use it if you're going to a work conference or you're traveling and you don't want a huge palette with you. So I liked that. In my opinion, this palette is very user-friendly, especially if you're not really sure what kinds of eyeshadows you want to use, you don't know the color scheme, you want something that all the colors are already chosen for you and they all work together really well, then I would say this is a great palette. So some of the cons to this palette, it is glossy, so the fingerprints and dirtiness happens very quickly. Another thing is the eyeshadows themselves. So I really liked the brow bone shade, this kind of creamy pink shade, the golden shade, the mid-tone brown, and the pink. These 2 shades are patchy and kind of get a little muddy quickly. So that was something that I didn't particularly like. I think the price is absolutely ridiculous for the amount of product that you get. And getting into the comparison with the Modern Renaissance, now I personally, this is the only Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that I have. They are normally $42, but you get 14 shades. Now, Anastasia has recently come out with 2 other palettes. One is the Prism palette, and that is limited edition, so it's mostly metallic eyeshadow shades with a few matte eyeshadow shades sprinkled in. And then we have the sister shade, the Subculture eye palette shade, and it is more cool toned. It also has 14 eyeshadows, but it has a lot different of a scheme, color scheme, than the Modern Renaissance palette. So those are all $42 for 14 shades, and the net weight for each eyeshadow is 0.7 grams or 0.02 ounces each. So that comes out to 0.28 ounces or 9.8 grams. Now here's the very strange thing about this Marc Jacobs palette. First of all, I could not find the ingredients, so I cannot compare the ingredients list to each other, but I will say that the Modern Renaissance palette feels more creamy, the matte shades are more buttery, and they are easier to blend out in general. Most of these matte shades are very dry. They're more on the dry side, and then these last 2 shades are extremely dry. The weight in ounces and grams vary. It's really weird. So on this palette, it says that there are 7x, and the X generally means times, 0.85 grams, or 7x, or times, 0.03 ounces. But on Sephora, it shows that it is 7 times 0.003 ounces or 0.08 grams for each shadow. So they are off by 1/10, which is kind of a big deal. This palette is either, based on the online measurements on Sephora, it is either 0.021 ounces or 0.56 grams. Or what's said on the palette, it's 0.21 ounces or 5.95 grams. And I'm wanting to say that what's on the palette is accurate, and I can't find anything on Marc Jacobs' website It's very interesting how like they just don't have a lot of information on this palette, and I don't particularly like that because I like to be able to search for information on the product and be able to find it right away for, being able to tell you guys about this information. More than likely what happened is the ingredient deck was on the box that this came in, but I threw that away quite a while ago because I don't need to keep boxes around all the time. So I'm just going to go with the grams. For 0.95 grams, this is $49, which hurts my very soul. And then this palette is 9.8 grams for $42. So it's a couple dollar difference for a lot more eyeshadows in the Anastasia palette, a lot fewer shadows, and not as much product in this palette. So what it comes down to, in my opinion, is the brand. I believe that you're paying the extra money for this kind of packaging and for the name Marc Jacobs. To me, that is off-putting, especially with how little product is in this palette and with the feel of the actual ingredients in these eyeshadows. I personally would not go out and purchase this. If you really struggle to get a color scheme together for your eyes, then I think that would be the only situation that I would recommend you get this particular eye palette. And if you don't know what to choose, then I would say go for this. Even in this situation, personally, I would recommend you go to ColourPopCosmetics.com or MakeupGeek.com because you can customize what kind of palette you would like. And with ColourPop, they have eyeshadow palettes that you can put together yourself. They wouldn't be in like a 7 pan like this. They're in the 4 pans, and you're getting more product from those bigger pans than you would if you got this. And those palettes are so much cheaper. One eyeshadow, I believe, is $5. So it's $20 for 4 eyeshadows. If you got it up to 7, that would be $35. That's still way cheaper. Way cheaper than Marc Jacobs. The quality would either be equal to this palette or even better. I mean, I've used some of their pressed pan eyeshadows, and their mattes are creamy. They're not as creamy as the Modern Renaissance eyeshadows, but they are creamier than this palette. So I hope that this is a good review for you in case you were wanting to know what the Marc Jacobs eyeshadows are like. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear from you guys. What is your favorite eyeshadow palette? I know there are a lot of them out there, and I love hearing about makeup. Anyways, I hope that you have a really awesome day. Don't forget to make your world a better place, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!